All right, hello everybody. I am back. I am going to show you guys six playoff scenarios that I think will happen. But the thing with this video is that it's going to show playoff scenarios that can happen, but it'll get highly unlikely as the video goes on. Like for example, the first one will be the most likely, which is right on the screen right now, and then the last one will be okay. This probably isn't going to happen. It's like a 1% chance. But anyways, let's get started. This is the first one. I have the Bills at the 1, the Chiefs in the 2, the Bengals in the 3, the Titans in the 4, Ravens in the 5, Chargers in the 6, Dolphins in the 7th. This is what I think will happen at the end of the season. The other teams might be the Jaguars. You can make an argument that the Jaguars are in the 4, but for now, this is what I think will happen. In the NFC, I have the, I'm going to this up real quick. We can see Eagles in the 1, Vikings in the 2, 49ers in the 3, Buccaneers 4, Cowboys 5, Giants 6, Commanders 7. Once again, you can make a couple arguments. You could say Detroit might get that 7 seed. You could say the 49ers might jump the Vikings, but we'll get into all those scenarios later. But yeah, this is what I think is most likely going to happen. Yeah, the yeah, this is what I think is going to happen. I don't have any complaints here. Let's move on to the second scenario right here. The Bills in the 1, the Chiefs in the 2, the Ravens in the 3, Jaguars in the 4, the Bengals in the 5, Chargers in the 6, Dolphins in the 7th. The big changes here is that some divisional changes happening. For example, that Week 18 game between the Ravens and the Bengals. First scenario, I had the Bengals winning. This scenario, I have the Ravens winning. Either about the Ravens at the Bengals, they would get the 3, Bengals drop to 5. The other change would be the Jaguars Titans Week 18 game. First scenario, the Titans winning. This scenario would be the Jaguars winning. Jaguars would be in the 4th seed, and the Titans miss. Other than that, it's mostly the same. On the other side, Eagles in the 1, 49ers 2, Vikings in the 3, Buccaneers in the 4, Cowboys in the 5, Giants in the 6, Packers in the 7. In this scenario, what happened here is the Packers won out. And with the Packers winning out, that puts them in the 7th seed, which would make that Packers Lions Week 18 game matter even more because the winner of that gets into the playoffs. And in this case, the Packers won out. Packers get into the 7th. Packers with 49ers. And because the Packers played the Vikings dropped from the 2 to 3. So which means the Packers would be 7, 4 would be 2. Packers would play in San Francisco. Giants in the 6, Vikings in the 3. The Vikings would be Vikings be 3 seed, Giants would be the 6 seed. In this scenario, and then this scenario has 2 that stayed the same. For example, Dolphins, Chiefs in the AFC, Cowboys, Buccaneers in the NFC, Bills and Eagles still first round buys. All right, moving on. In the 3rd week, got the Bengals in the 1, the Bills in the 2, Chiefs in the 3, Titans in the 4, Chargers 5, Ravens take, Jets now take 7, and you get like Cowboys now in the 1, 49ers in 2, Vikings 3, Saints in the 4, Eagles in the 5, Giants in the 6, Lions take 7. So what changes happened here? Well, let's start off with the Bengals winning out. With the Bengals winning out, Bengals play Buffalo Week 17. The winner of that game most likely gets the bye. With that being the case, the Bengals beat the Bills. They would get the first round bye. Bills drop to 2. Chiefs drop to the 3. The Bengals jump from the 3 to the 1. Bills and Chiefs drop down the spot. Titans still beat the Jaguars, just like in the first scenario. Titans still take the 4. Nothing changed there. Chargers in the 5, Ravens in the 6, because the Ravens is in this scenario. Now the Ravens I had the Steelers beating the Ravens week 17, I believe. With that being the case, Ravens are up on the 5-6. Ravens play Kansas City. The other team now with the Jets winning out. With the Jets winning out, they go from outside looking in to the 7th seed because the Jets played it off in week 18. Winner of that game most likely gets the 7th seed. Meanwhile, in the NFC, you got the Cowboys in the 1, 49 2, Vikings 3, Saints 4, Eagles 5, Giants 6, Lions 7. In this scenario, the Eagles lost out. Cowboys now take the 1, and the Saints, we have the Saints and Eagles play. The Saints beat the Eagles. The Saints now are in the 4th seed. The Saints will play the Eagles. But as I said before, Lions Packers game, that game most likely gets 7th. Lions now will take 7th in this scenario. So now the NFC is a whole lot different than what it was. The last two had the Buccaneers. Now this one has the Saints because the Saints beat the Eagles. All right. Here's the third one. Chiefs in the 1, Bills in the 2, Ravens in the 3, Titans in the 4, Patriots in the 5, Bengals in the 6, Jets in the 7. So in this case, the Patriots and Jets both went out. Patriots and Jets both went out. Patriots to jump the since the Patriots play the Bengals, Patriots jump the Bengals, Bengals would drop to the 6. And the Jets, as I said before in the last scenario, we're not the Jets winning out. Jets win out here. Jets would play Buffalo. GI Chiefs first round bye, nothing to change there because it's the Bills losing to the Patriots. The Bills now drop from the 1 to the 2, and the Chiefs now jump from the 2 to the 1. And the NFC side, this is where it gets interesting. Is the Eagles lose to the Cowboys. And with that, however, the Cowboys lost 2 of their last 3. So the Eagles technically still won the East. However, because they lost the game, no wait, actually it was vice versa. The Eagles lost to the Giants, but beat the Cowboys and Saints. So with that scenario, the Giants jumped the Cowboys. The Giants went out. Giants jumped the Cowboys. Cowboys lost to the Eagles. And they lost to the Titans, which is why the Titans are there. Cowboys are jumping the 5 to drop from the 5 to the 6. Commanders now take the 7 to the Commanders beat the Cowboys. So now the wild cards are Giants, Cowboys, Commanders. The Vikings are still the 3, and Carolina now sneaks into the 4, beating Tampa Bay. So the Giants would play Carolina, Cowboys would go to Minnesota, Washington would play the Eagles. And this is probably one of the more interesting matchups. And this is the one at the end that I said was going to be all of the upsets. I don't care what happened. This is what happened. Bengals now in the 1. They get the bye. Bills in the 2, Chiefs in the 3, Titans in the 4, Chargers in the 5, Patriots in the 6, Dolphins in the 7. So what happened? Well, Bengals are the 1 seed. However, they're 11-6 because the Bills lost out and the Chiefs lost out. So the Bengals are not a 1, the Bills are not a 2, Chiefs are not 3, Titans are not 4. Yeah. And the Titans and past the Jags, they get the 4th, even if the Jaguars beat them week 18. The Chargers now in the 5 this is a scenario where the Ravens lose out. Ravens miss the playoffs. Chargers, Patriots, Dolphins. So it's the Ravens losing out. Both of those, also these teams are now 10-7. Ravens 9-8. Ravens are out. Those 3 are in. On the other side, got the Eagles in the 1. You got the Vikings in the 2, the 49ers 3, Falcons in the 4, Cowboys in the 5, Commanders 6, Seahawks in the 7. So what happened here was because the Ravens played the Falcons and the Ravens lost out, the Falcons now sneak into the 4. Falcons end up winning out. Falcons take the 4. Vikings and 49ers mostly the same, Eagles mostly the same, Cowboys. Giants also lose out in this scenario. Giants also lose out, and the Seahawks win out. So with that, the Commanders sneak into the 6, and the Seahawks take the 7. So at the Seahawks in Minnesota, Washington will go to the 49ers, and the Cowboys would head to Atlanta. Yeah, and this is the one I was talking about earlier. All of the upsets. I picked every game except I picked the underdog. Let's start with the first seed, the Bengals and the Eagles. Both of those teams are the 1 seeds. However, they each lost, I believe, 2 of their last 3. Maybe it was lost all 3. I can't remember. But with the Bengals going 11-6 and the Eagles, I believe, going 12-5 or 13-4, both of those teams are still to buy. Both of those teams are to buy. Bengals are 11-6 because while they lost to the Ravens and they lost to the Patriots, they beat the Bills, and I think the Bills are going to be the favorite that game. The Bills drop from the 1 to the 2. Chiefs. Bills have tiebreaker of Chiefs, so the Chiefs drop from the 2 to the 3. Titans are down to 4. This upsets to the Cowboys and Titans are down to 5. And the Patriots and then the Raiders get to. So with that, let's move on to the NFC. The Patriots somehow won, and the Raiders won on 6 and 7. All right. Meanwhile, let's move on to the NFC. So the Eagles lost, I believe, 2 of their last 3. Cowboys lost out. Commanders won 2 of their last 3. The Commanders played a. I can't remember if the Commanders won 2 of their last 3 or they lost 2 of their last 3. I know they lost to the Browns. The Browns were favored. But anyways, as I was saying, Commanders, Cowboys, and Giants. So that's still all 4 NFC East teams, and I think all 4 NFC East teams can make it. Saints in the 4. Saints have played, Saints in the 4 since the beat the Eagles, and that's division. Eagles are 1 game from Clinton